Hello and welcome back to my channel, my poor delinquent channel. But I would like to make it up to you today by bringing you a little bit of pre-flight yoga. Yes, so today I am in, well, obviously it's not today, it was last week, but this is when I was coming back home from Joshua Tree. So I had the pleasure of flying through the Palm Springs airport, which is a complete dream. If you can see this, it's like a nice little soft grassy park, delightful. And so I thought this was a perfect spot just to roll out the yoga mat, which if you don't have a fold up little travel yoga mat, I highly suggest it. This thing has been like my favorite purchase of quite some time. You can just fit it in a little backpack, whatever. It's easy to fold up, it's discreet, it's great. I got it from Target, probably like $20. Put it on your Christmas list. But yeah, so the great thing now is that a lot of airports even have just special yoga rooms that are kind of like, there's usually a partition or something to separate, and then there's some mats and props and things like that. But even if the airport you're in doesn't have this, I totally would encourage you just to roll it out wherever you can find a nice little quiet spot or whatever and do your thing. And I think it's great too because, you know, usually it's not doing it for attention necessarily, but I think it also benefits people walking by and maybe thinking, oh hey, look, this person's doing yoga, but like, what a great idea. And like, I don't know, it's just such a nice thing to do before sitting on a plane for, you know, hours or whatever it is until your destination. So yeah, pre-flight yoga, one of my favorite pastimes. Love it. And so if you would join me, let us roll out, and we'll just start with some cat-cow. So coming into tabletop, and we're just gonna do some cat-cow, which is just to warm up our spine here. So we raise it up like a Halloween cat and then reverse it and let your stomach hang low. And we'll just do a couple little cycles of this just to warm up the spine. And now we can do some hip circles. So if you bring your feet together, knees wide apart, and then you just kind of circle your hips in one direction. So bringing it around, I always like hear SpongeBob in my head, like bring it around town. But yeah, just basically do 3 circles in one direction and then reverse it in the other way. So just do about 3 more on that other side. Hearing that SpongeBob voice. Okay, now let's come back into tabletop and maybe just do one more cat-cow for good measure, waking up that spine. And now you're gonna take your left leg and stretch that out, and your opposite arm, so your right arm, also stretched out. And just think about lengthening in one straight line. So you're pushing back with your left foot as far as you can, and you're reaching forward as far as you can with your right. And then set both those down, and we'll go to the other side. So stretching out that right leg and that left arm. So you're pulling in opposite directions, and you're really just feeling a nice lengthening all the way down. Okay, and then we'll come back down with control. And now just another little warm up, just bump your hips to the left and the right. And just kind of look at your hips as you're doing it, and it gives a curve to your spine again, just to like wake them all up. Okay, and now we are just going to bring our knees up and really pay attention to how you're controlling your core in doing this movement. And then just go and push out into downward dog. And If you're like me, my hamstrings and calves are always quite tight if this is the first time I'm doing it in the morning, and so this one actually was very early in the morning. So just take a few moments to just pedal your feet out, walk out your dog, and that should feel really nice first thing. Or even if it's, just your first downward dog of the day, always a great feeling. And just press those hips up and feel that nice stretch. All right, bringing our right leg up into your one-legged dog, and now taking that knee between your hands for a low lunge. Do some neck circles and think about keeping your chest or your heart forward the whole time and just feeling the length of your spine. So keeping your neck and head in line. And then bring your left knee to the ground. We're gonna do some runner stretches. So you come forward and then push back over your knee and just alternate. So push forward and feel in that solar plex, and push back, hanging over the knee, stretched out and feeling that in your hamstring. Do that a few times here. Forward and press back, curving over and trying to bring your face close to the knee without pushing it too much. And then coming forward, we'll lift that back knee off the ground back into our low lunge. So keeping your left hand on the ground, bring that right arm up to the sky and twist your torso so that you're kind of wringing out your spine essentially. And keep your eyes up there on your hand. Now bring it back down, both arms, and we will step back into our plank and rock forward and backward just to really feel the muscles all working together, and then lower everything down to the ground. So keeping your elbows glued against your ribs, go ahead and push up just into a baby cobra, so your thighs are on the ground still, but you're just pressing up, keeping your neck long. Come back down and we'll do that once more. So just feel that length from your spine to the top of your head, and then lower back down. And now we're going to go, keeping our elbows close, press back up into a plank and push back into downward dog. And just pedal those feet out again and just reset yourself, feeling that nice stretch. We're gonna go and of course take it to the other side. So bringing the left leg up into your one-legged dog, and then we're gonna bring that foot to come between our hands on the ground there, so that we're now in a low lunge. And just feeling your body working together, feeling your neck, keeping it long, maybe some neck circles. Find what feels good. And then bring that right knee down to the ground. We'll do some runner's stretches again. So bringing your hips back, but your left leg straight. Bring that head as close to the knee as you can without any discomfort. And then push forward so that your hips are coming close to your foot to stretch out that solar plex. And then we'll just do a couple cycles of that. So pressing back, coming forward, pressing back, and coming forward, and really lean into that to feel that nice deep stretch in that thigh. Pressing back, you should feel this in your hamstrings and your glutes and even your calf. And then coming forward, we're gonna bring that back knee off the ground back into our low lunge, and keeping that right hand on the ground this time, and bring the left up so that you're twisting towards your left and looking up at that hand and just wringing out that spine again on the other side. Take a few deep breaths. keep a nice integrity with that spine there. And then we're just going to place that hand back to the ground and stepping back into our plank. Rock forward and back again just to bring everything back into unison, and then lowering down into your chaturanga. So in an upward facing dog, keeping your thighs off the ground if you can. And then we'll sit back into a nice child's pose. So keeping your knees together, we'll just sit back and take a couple deep breaths just to reset everything after that little flow. So just stretch those hands out as far as you can and really feel that lengthening in your spine that happens when you're kind of pulling your hips back. Okay, let's go ahead and we'll get back into our tabletop position. And we're gonna go and place our forearms where those hands were. And just bring your hips up and your chin to the ground, and you should feel a really nice shoulder stretch here. And I also like it because it feels like it's really just stretching out your core as well. So kind of feel an internal pull on that one. It feels really nice. So now we're gonna do thread the needle. So if you keep that right hand to the ground, bring the left up so that your gaze follows that left hand, and then go ahead and thread that left underneath the right so that it's outstretched, and you're gonna lay your head to the ground, meaning you want your left ear to be on the ground so that you're facing towards the right, and you're just feeling that right side body really stretching out long in one straight line. So just take a few deep breaths here. And then we'll push back up into all fours and take it to the other side. So keeping your left hand on the ground, bring your right up and thread that underneath the left so that your right ear is now on the ground and you're looking towards the left side of your mat. Keeping those hips up, that's also important so that you can really feel the stretch, obviously in both directions. That's kind of the theme here, I think, is the opposite pull giving you that maximum benefit through that stretch. So a few deep breaths, and then we'll just come back up to tabletop. Of course, a few cat-cows just to reset. So now just coming into a seated position, we are going to do a nice little hip opener, Baddha Konasana, butterfly. And so keeping your knees outstretched in the opposite directions, you're going to bring those feet to come together, and it should look kind of like an open book. Your feet's a book. And then just keeping that spine in line, you're gonna lean forward and bring your body lowered so that you're coming close to your feet as long as you can, and then round your spine so that your face is basically right near your feet. Hope you've got clean socks on. And I always like to kind of keep my elbows against my knees so that it's helping to pull them down a bit and just deepen that stretch a little bit. So if you're looking for something more, that's one way you can do it, just by adding a little bit more weight to that. And then we'll just press back up. So now just come back into your seated position, whatever's most comfortable. I like a nice Indian style personally. And then go ahead and stretch both arms up overhead as far as you can, and we're going to do a side body stretch. So bring that right forearm to the ground and your left arm overhead towards the right side of your body. so that you are feeling a lovely, lovely lengthening all down that left side body. And if you can, turn your head and your gaze up to that arm overhead. And that just kind of brings everything more in line. And then you can push back up, stretch up straight both arms, and we'll go to the other side. So taking that left forearm to the ground, right overhead, going over towards the left side of the yoga mat or your body. And you'll now feel that lovely lengthening stretch all down the right side of your body. And again, just bring your gaze up to that hand over your head and take a few nice deep breaths. We're almost done. I just love this so much. It feels so good. Okay, so both arms back up overhead to reset. And take those hands to your heart center, bowing your head for this nice little, 12-minute yoga sequence that you gave yourself before your flight. You are gonna be cruising off, feeling like $1,000,000, not tired or groggy at all. I'm telling you, this is a game changer. I would definitely encourage you just not to really, who cares if people want to, stop and look. Again, I think if anything, hopefully it inspires them to maybe think next time or what they can do just to make their flight a little bit more enjoyable. Stop and think, hey, this is something that I could do too. Why not? I say, why not? And then, of course, just having a little bit more fun here in this lovely grassy spot that I've got myself. Just a couple more little spine twists. Never hurt nobody. But yeah, I hope you all have a wonderful holiday with family and friends, wherever you are going, whatever you are doing. Be kind to one another, and of course, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe if not already. Thank you so much, and have a great rest of your 2018.